And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and your co-host on this program. With me is your other host for the 5-Minute Roundup, Eric Simpson, who is CIO and Senior Vice President of SPC International, a training and business improvement organization for IT providers and MSPs. Eric, how goes it today?
It goes fantastic today, Rich. How about you?
Goes pretty well. Goes pretty well. We are recording on a Friday, weekend coming up, mid-August. Weather's great here in Seattle, where I'm broadcasting from this week. It's all good.
Fantastic. What do we have for our viewers today?
Well, let's dive into the top story. It was actually not a very big news week, so I thought we would dedicate this portion of the show to a story we put up on ChannelPro last night about Carbonite. And it's basically designed to catch people up on the partner program that Carbonite introduced almost exactly a year ago at this point, to sort of catch up with some of the changes in that business, which has been making a lot of acquisitions, moving up market into the mid-market space. So I encourage you to go to the ChannelProNetwork.com website, take a look at the entire article to really kind of get caught up on what's happening with Carbonite. I will just flag two things that I thought were especially interesting from that story. So first of all, I spoke with their channel chief, so this is all coming straight from the top there. And he indicated to me that one of their core strategies right now going forward is they're really looking to devote more of their attention to a smaller circle of their top partners. So as they move up market, and they're not looking to move exclusively up market, but as they add customers in that mid-market space and the upper mid-market space, they're really looking to get more strategic about a smaller circle of partners who are generating the bulk of the revenue for them, and to engage more closely and more seriously with them. They are still going to support everyone else who wants to do business with them. They're working very hard at rolling out a whole variety of self-serve tools right now that will make it very easier even for a lot of those partners to get the information and the support that they need from Carbonite. They just might not be getting as much face time, as much personal attention from the partner team at Carbonite, which is really going to be investing heavily in those key partners. And then the other thing that I'll just call attention to is I asked at the end of my interview with this gentleman whether or not the move on the part of companies like Datto and Kaseya to assemble these end-to-end managed services suites that include backup and BDR functionality, which is what Carbonite does, but also a whole lot of other kinds of applications as well. Whether that trend was on their mind at Carbonite, whether it was influencing their strategy. And the answer was an unequivocal yes. That is a work in progress. They don't know exactly what they're going to do in response to that trend, but they're well aware of it. They don't view it as something that some of their competitors are just sort of cooking up on their own. They're hearing from their own MSP partners that there's a lot of demand for these kinds of all-in-one packages, and they're looking at what that means for them, what they're going to do in response to that, and it's likely to include some combination of partnerships with third-party vendors and possibly more acquisitions.
So, Rich, they acquired Mozi a little while back, correct?
That's correct. About within the last 6 months or so.
Right. So I think what we're seeing here is the tried and true evolution of a vendor in the channel. What we're seeing is we're seeing growth through acquisition. We're seeing that strategic evolution that you mentioned, where they are segmenting their user, their partner base into the high performing partners, to invest more time, energy, and effort into that high-performing portion of their channel partners, and continue to deliver, the same or maybe improved services to the existing partner base. But this is kind of the playbook for a strategic, growing vendor, right? Grow through critical mass, maybe through some acquisition, which I'm sure you and I expect them to do some more of in the future. Segment their partner base so that they can invest more time, energy, effort, funds, market development funds, and things like that to grow that portion, that segment of their channel revenue. and then look to other strategic acquisitions or mergers to catch up with some of this other technology to maybe integrate it in with their offerings that you mentioned.
Yep, absolutely. It's a classic pattern, and particularly for vendors that are looking to expand or build upon a base and smaller businesses into larger ones. You know, the more you move up that scale, the more it is about really zeroing in on strategic alliances, and so that's what they're doing at Carbonite.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a good strategy.
Well, let's take a look at your tip of the week, and it's an interesting one to me because it comes up a lot, especially when I talk with distributors, and this is how to take advantage of your partners' facilities.
Absolutely. I think, you know, as an IT provider that is looking to grow your business and distinguish yourself and differentiate yourself from your competitors, a great way to do that is to leverage the opportunity to use your distributors and vendors' facilities to do sales meetings with customers, do lunch and learn events, and things like that. So if you are geographically near a distributor with a showroom or with a facility that's very nice, you can leverage that relationship. You know, I remember back when we were MSPs, Rich. I mean, we used to leverage Ingram Micro's facilities for bringing our clients in, giving them that taste of the relationship that we have with Ingram. Obviously, we would leverage our local Microsoft offices and other vendors' offices and things like that to give us that slight edge in the perception of our prospects and clients that we have much tighter relationships and are movers in the industry that they want to work with and they want to engage with. So the tip of the week is reach out to your vendor and distributor relationships, find out what opportunities you have to use their facilities and book those. And in some cases, there's already a program built out. Many vendors and distributors have programs that allow you to schedule time, and they'll even bring in their product specialists and things like that to help you make that impression or do solution presentations and things like that. So, you know, don't go it alone. Don't do it all yourself. You know, reach out, leverage those relationships. And if you don't have great vendor relationships that can allow you to get there, you know, this is a great opportunity to do so. Be that visible partner, be that go-to partner, because with that kind of relationship comes other benefits such as MDF, such as leads, and all these other things. So that's our tip of the week this week, Rich.
You know, and it's a great one. Like I was saying, particularly when I speak with distributors, this comes up a lot, but it comes up with some of the larger vendors too. I mean, they have these absolutely state-of-the-art demonstration centers. And it's sort of like what we've talked about before with respect to MDF. There is a tendency sometimes in the SMB channel to think I'm not big enough, maybe I don't matter enough to these guys to have access to some of these resources. And I've got, you know, vendors and distributors telling me all the time, call up your account manager, call up your rep, whoever it is you are in regular contact with at this distributor or at this vendor. Tell them about the customer and the opportunity. You know, and nobody is too small to qualify to use these facilities. They're very impressive, and they can really help you close business.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's actually the opposite. I mean, millions of dollars go back in MDF that don't get distributed. These showrooms and these conference rooms and these boardrooms in these facilities go unbooked, you know, for weeks at a time. So, you know, raise your hand. You know, be that visible partner, be that strategic partner, and only good can come from it.
Well, we have got time for just one more story on this week's 5-Minute Roundup, and it kind of circles back to something that we spoke about some months back. Regular viewers may recall that Eric and I discussed a move on the part of the airline. He and I are both frequent flyers, so this actually is something directly relevant to both of us. And we were talking before about a move on the part of some of the airlines to get a little tighter, a little more restrictive in terms of what qualifies as a comfort animal. And we'll be able to, you will be able to have accompany you on an airline. This week, I came across a story that suggests one airline at least has sort of backslid a little bit on that. Southwest Airlines is now allowing people to bring miniature horses on board with them as comfort animals. And I am looking forward to the first Southwest flight I take with a miniature horse next to me, and just I've got my fingers and toes crossed that this little guy has been toilet trained.
Yeah, no kidding, Rich. I mean, all we need is, you know, little Wilbur and My Pretty Pony to you know, to create a unique, undesirable experience for the rest of the passengers.
It could be a very long flight indeed. Yes. Well, that is all the time we have this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you very much for joining us. If you like the show, you'd like to keep up with future episodes, take a look at the past ones that we've done. What you want to do is subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. You'll see everything we've got there and keep up to date with what's coming. If you are interested in more stories like the one about Carbonite we were talking about, stories about new trends and technologies in the industry, you want to go to channelpronetwork.com on a regular basis. We've got great new content for you going up there every day. To learn more about SPC International and Eric and the work that he and his team are doing with MSPs and other IT providers, go to consulting.spc-intl.com. That's consulting.spc-intl.com. We will be back with you for another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup in a week. Until then, enjoy the rest of this week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.